Internet, what's happening? My name is Steve Looney, and I'm the owner of GraphicDesignerTips.com, and I'd like to introduce you to the very first episode of Logo Design Bootcamp is put together for you to be better as a graphic artist in regards to logo design. So in each episode, I have created a fictitious logo for you to learn from, and I'm going to talk about it, show you elements and techniques, and in the end, I'm going to show you how to build it in Adobe Illustrator. All right, so we're going to stay with current events right now because we have the elections in a few days, so I figured why not for the letter A? It matches perfectly with the word America. So the first logo I have designed is America Votes 2012, which is right here. And I'm going to change the background because to keep some continuity between our logo. It's actually called branding, so let's change that. All right, so now we have our background, and let's get into this logo now. All right, so right now I'm going to critique this logo real quick, and starting with the fonts. We have two different fonts in this. We have one nice big bold font for the word America, which needs to stand out, needs to be prominent, because it is the most important part of the logo. And then we have Votes 2012, which is kind of a subheader, subtext to it. It doesn't have to be as prominent. And rule of thumb is you can use two different types of fonts in your logo design, so you don't have to bold everything and make everything stand out like a lot of people try to do. It tends to look kind of cheap and clunky after a while. So what I wanted to do in this logo was to create the effect of the red, white, and blue, and I did that by making a wave effect that actually cuts through the letters, and it breaks the letters up into different shapes, which actually allows me to put red on the bottom area and blue in the top area. I also knocked out the A over here in a star and the A at the end with a star. And it's cool because the first A, it knocks out the blue area the most, and it knocks out the red area the most on the second. So let's come down to the bottom of this logo. We have the American Eagle, and we have the little red line over here that actually contains the Votes 2012 in the middle. We could have done anything with Votes 2012. We could have made it really big, but I didn't want to do that to make it, very distracting and clunky. So these little elements like the bald eagle and the red line, they actually keep this logo, in line. So we're going to remove this guy for a second. You'll see what I mean. It adds a little bit of character to it, personalizes it. Down the road, you could always use this American Eagle as a part of something else in your artwork, like maybe on your website or whatnot. And the last thing I did was put this little star in the O right here. So I'm also going to show you this real quick. If this was part of a campaign, how it looks in black and white. It's going to look great in black and white. Although we have these different colors in it, you want to make sure that because, say people are going to be faxing this or doing, things that copying this logo, you want to make sure it looks good in black and white as much as it looks good in color. It's always going to look better in color, but you want it to look good, all the elements. So let's jump into Illustrator now, and I'll actually show you how to build this. All right, so I'm going to show you how to build this logo real quick in Adobe Illustrator. I'm using version CS6, but all this stuff will apply to any version you're actually designing in. So we're going to come up to the type tool up here, and we're going to click and type in the word America. All right, I'm using compact to bold. I am going to squeeze this a little bit. I am not a fan of distorting fonts, but in this case it actually works. We need to outline this. This is actually reading text right now. We need to turn it into shapes. So we're going to come up to type, create outlines. All right, or that Shift Command O as a keyboard shortcut. And now we have the word America. I want to get these little triangles out of the A's by going to the direct selection or hitting the letter A. And you got to click on one of the points, very important. All right, and then you can just delete that. Delete those. Now, let's add the stars in here by coming up to the star tool. And we're going to hold down Shift so it makes the star nice and nice. Once I let go of Shift, you see it's going to move all over the place. I want it to be straight up and down like that. I'm going to fill my foreground color with, I'm going to hit the default. I'm going to make it white and take off that black stroke. And come back to our star and kind of squeeze it in a little bit. All right. You can either copy and paste this star to get it over to the other A, or you can hold Option, click, and drag. And if you hold the Shift, it'll stay on the same plane. But I'm going to get this a little lower and move this one a little higher. Now, right now, these are just white stars on top of a black back. And I'm going to knock these out right now by using something called the Pathfinder tool. So while we have these 2 stars selected, I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. So now they disappeared, but they're really behind the A. You need to use your direct selection because you're selecting individual elements, and you got a marquee around these 2 elements. And in your Pathfinder, which you can go to Window and Pathfinder if it's not already out, you would come over here to the minus back. It's going to subtract the element from the back from the front one, which is what we want. So we do that to the first one, and we do the same exact thing to the second one. Now we actually have shapes with a knockout in the middle. So it's no longer just a star on top of a shape on top of a shape. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create this little wave through the words by coming up here to the pen tool. We're going to click outside the word, and we're going to come in here, and we're going to create our little curves in here. I have another tutorial on the pen tool if you do not know how to do this, but I'm just kind of going through this real quick so you understand. I'm going to fill the stroke with white, and I'm going to make that stroke pretty heavy. All right. So we're going to come up to Object. We're going to outline this stroke, Path, Outline, Stroke, and it's going to turn it into a shape. And what that shape allows us to do, it allows us to use our Pathfinder, as we did with the stars, and break up all the elements. So this word America is one entire word right now. But if I select America and I select this outline stroke and I come into my Pathfinder and hit trim, it's going to trim the top half and the bottom half. Now, everything is all grouped together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my direct selection, which is A again, and we're going to click this bad boy and we're going to delete. All right, so now if I use my direct selection, you're going to notice, you see how there's a top element there? It's just taking the top elements, because now it basically cut the letters in half. And without going into gradients, which I also have another tutorial on, you can select right here the gradient tool. You can direct select all the letters on the top half and go to your eyedropper, and I'm going to select this right here as the blue, and I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom on the red. Awesome. Very, very easy. So on the bottom of this, we're now going to create our bottom area. We're going to type in votes 2012. And yes, by the way, I am very excited to vote in a few days. I would have had the tutorial out earlier if we didn't have this nasty hurricane, but stuff happens. All right, Myriad. We're going to make this smaller, and I don't want it to be bold because you don't have to bold every single thing. What I also did in the logo below, the original logo, is I had the 2 and the I line up and the V and the M line up. So this isn't something that's going to make or break your logo, but it's just clean design. It's something that you should always kind of strive for. I do all the time. We're going to take this American Eagle. I'm just going to copy him, and we're going to overlay him. But we could also do a Pathfinder, just like we did on the stars and that little wave through the word, and cut it out from the A and the C. But we're not going to do that right now. But just so you know, you can do that. I'm going to just change this into like a navy blue, the votes, 2012. The last thing I'm going to do is come up to the star tool. I'm going to click, hold down, and I'm going to grab the rectangle tool, which is also M. I'm going to make this little rectangle right here, and I'm going to sample the red, and it's going to turn it into our logo.